Good morning.
Good morning, listeners and viewers.
Yes.
Yeah, we're getting some viewers now. Which
We
is
are
good.
getting some
I'm
viewers,
actually
which
having
is
to do
nice.
my hair and makeup now before we do this podcast, so thanks very much
I
for
suppose
that.
for those people who only listen to us maybe don't know that
No.
they can see us too if they go onto YouTube. And for those people that see us on YouTube, you can go to Spotify and listen to us anytime you want.
Well, actually,
Why wouldn't you?
I had to pay particular care to my hair this morning because of the topic that we were talking about.
Yes.
And it actually did make me think, so I thought I'd better
And then
make
you
it
walk outside to this blustery
Yes.
southerly,
Oh.
and there goes the hairdo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so if you haven't guessed already, that's our topic for today. Ladies, I mean, not only ladies, it does affect men as well, obviously, but particularly, for ladies, I think a lot of the time we define ourselves by our hairstyles, don't we?
We absolutely do. All through our lives, and then obviously we get to menopause and there's hair loss and there's a whole lot of other things that go with it, and we'll get to that.
Yes.
But you're quite right. From
Yeah.
the time we were little girls,
So important.
when we first when our hair was long enough to put
Yes.
into plaits.
Plaits and
You
braids
know?
and...
And that's when we were cute and little.
Yes.
And then we became teenagers, we became obnoxious. And then depending on what kind of music genre you kind of followed, there was the spine, like the punk hairdos. I was a big rock and roll girl, so I was a Bon Jovi fan. So I had the big Bon Jovi hair and the weave perm, and it was actually very cool, I might say. I actually wore that all the way through the 80s.
I was very much the Farrah Fawcett flick, even at school in year 12. On my school photo looks like that. And then I think in my 20s, I did do something really stupid, which I thought was really cool at the time, and I shaved half my head.
Did you really?
Yes.
Oh,
I shaved this side.
Have you got pictures of that?
Oh, I hope not. I think there's one photo somewhere, and the worst part wasn't, shaving it. I thought it was really cool because I didn't have to put my hair behind my ears all the time. The worst part was it growing out because you had this weird stubble crap on the side of my head. But
the
anyway.
thing is about hair, like for women, it's no matter what age we are, like you are quite right. It does for a number of reasons define us, not just define us as who we are, but also defines how we feel.
Yes.
And it's the classic, of having a bad hair
Yes.
day. Now, if you're having a bad hair day, your whole world is having a bad
Where's
hair.
my hair clip?
It's like if you're having a bad hair day, it's like you just got out on the wrong side of the bed for that day, and you cannot wait for that day to be over to jump in the shower just to redo your hair.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre how it's so tied into your mental well-being.
I know when I have a bad hair day, I've either got a cap on or I've got my hair clipped and my hair's up.
Yeah.
And I'd like that too, in between getting some highlights in my hair and getting a haircut. It just gets to that point where it just doesn't look right. And you know what? The weirdest thing about it is nobody else really notices.
I know.
But we do.
And we're like,
it's about how we
not
feel.
notice. Like it was completely different to any other day. And I'm like, no,
it's
you look
bizarre.
the same to me.
See, other people don't notice it as much as we do. So, it's a combination of vanity. But you're right, it makes us feel good. And if it's important to you and it's something that you want to look after, then, there are ways that you can maintain healthy hair growth throughout your age, even though age does have, obviously, a contributing factor to our hair growth and the quality of our hair.
I also think that as we get older, probably right up until my 40s, I would certainly say my 40s, maybe my mid-40s, I would never leave the house without my hair being done. And I've never been a cap wearer because I look ridiculous in a baseball cap. I look really cool in a cowboy hat. In a baseball cap. In a baseball cap, I just look like I've got a funny head shape. And so I would always have my hair done, and really probably wasn't until I got to my mid-40s that I dared to even like to put it up in a clip. And now, absolutely, I put a clip at least 3 or 4 times a week. It's just popping up, and I don't really care anymore.
Yeah, I think the importance of hair. You only have to walk down a supermarket aisle to see how the marketing power of hair products and what we're using now. Like even things like dry shampoo.
I know.
Like I remember going through. This was a funny story. I was going because when I travel back and forwards to Sydney to see my kids. And I always have a bottle of dry shampoo with me.
Do you?
Yeah, always.
I'm not considering you being with someone that
I love
it.
it. Because I suppose I do my hair less when I'm travelling because I don't care. I just put it up or put a cap on or whatever. But dry shampoo sort of sees me through quite a few days without having to wash it because my hair's fine. It gets oily quite quickly. And dry shampoo for me, for my hair type, is really, really good. I love the stuff. even though it may not be the healthiest because it does have chemicals in it. But I was going through Sydney airport through the scanning, right, with your bag, and they say, pull out your computer, pull out your mobile phone.
Aerosols.
Any aerosols. And I said, and I put the dry shampoo bottle on top. And the guy stops me at security and goes, tell me about this. He said, every woman has a bottle of this stuff. He said, we're always pulling out dry shampoo bottles. He said, or women just forget that they've got it in their bag. And he said, oh my God, it must just be the most incredible profits in dry shampoo. He said, yeah. He said, it's incredible how many women have dry shampoo. He said, it'd probably be up there with laptops and mobile phones.
Most of my friends use it. I don't. I don't.
So
use
what's
it.
your hair texture?
Medium to
Thick?
Yes, thick.
Yeah. So you get really thick hair. I think dry shampoo is predominantly for fine hair like mine, like really fly away.
What do you use it for? Like, so you don't use it for colour. You use it for
no, not for colour.
Yeah.
It's just to give it a bit of volume and to take the oiliness out. So fine hair tends to get. We produce a little bit more oil than people with thick hair. Yours tends to stay in place. You've got that nice boof in your hair. Right? Boof hair.
I've always had a boof.
So you've got a natural boof. I don't have a natural boof. So there we go. So, conversation. So I need help with my boofing.
Apparently.
So yeah, dry shampoo is fantastic for really fine hair that tends to fly away. It just tends to give me a little bit of a lift, and it just holds
So we
my
should
hair.
now write to the marketing companies of dry shampoo when we put this podcast
Sponsorship.
out. Sponsorship.
No, it's all good. Anyway, that's my dry shampoo story. So yes, it's up there with my
So my
phones and
question is,
laptops.
did they take it off you?
No. As long as it's got a lid on it.
Oh, okay.
No, he said if it doesn't have a lid on it, they take it off you. He said, but as long as it's got a lid on it, no, it's fine. You can go through with it, but it just needs a lid. But it was hilarious just talking to this guy about dry shampoo and what it's good for.
Interesting. All right, so let's have a chat about hair. I mean, we talked about like as we're growing up, like the different phases that we go through, which is generally our hairstyles are generally part of like what's happening in the fashion at the time. I was a bit like you. One time I did actually cut my hair short.
Yeah.
And it was blonde, and then it was bright red, and then black. So I had like traffic lights.
Sounds like the German flag.
Black,
red, and gold.
But part of the reason for having this topic and this conversation today was because we've noticed that the conversation around here and mature women, whether they're in perimenopause or menopause, that hair loss has become quite a major concern.
Yeah, because when your hormones are not balanced, that is when most women will notice that they're losing a little bit more hair. There might be more hair in the shower. There's probably more hair on your brush. You need to clean your brush out a lot more. But it's a noticeable change in hair loss. And of course, the more hair you lose, the more stressed you get, the more hair you lose. It's a bit of a vicious roundabout. So, there are, as soon as you sort of start to notice that, you've got to straight away think, oh, hormones, okay, I need to go and see someone to balance my hormones. What's going on?
So one of the common questions that I see quite a lot in the Facebook threads is, some people will say it's hormones, obviously, because they're of their age group and it's they just tie it to menopause.
Yes.
Others will say it's a lack of copper deficiency.
Yeah, look, it's never one thing. And it's like with anything with hormone balancing. You can't just give one hormone. You're not going to just give this or give that, because then you'll end up with another deficiency of something else. It's about balancing them all equally. Have a look at gut health, where your copper is important. Well, again, gut health.
I was just, you literally took the words right out of my mouth.
Gut health is
always
so important.
Back to gut health. Always.
Because it's not necessarily a deficiency or excess in copper. It might be the absorption of it. Your lack of absorption of copper, and that is really important in your digestive pathways.
And actually, that's quite a common thing as we get older as well, that people don't realise, is we start to lose, I don't know the reason for it, maybe you do, but we start to lose the ability to absorb nutrients like we used to.
Our digestive enzyme efficiency is just not as good as it used to be. And there are really simple things that you can do to improve that, and that can be things like apple cider vinegar before meals, lemon juice and water. They're things that will promote digestive enzyme activity. So there's pretty simple solutions from nature to rebalance things, and it might be because of a poor diet or stress, environmental factors. They all contribute to hormone imbalances that when things can go wrong.
So when people say there's nothing they can do, that's actually quite wrong, because you've just listed just a couple of things that people can do. But like, we've got a whole list of things here that that you've put together. I'll go through some, but you can elaborate as we go. Like, we've got natural solutions for menopausal hair loss. So nutritional tips, who would have thought? But here we go. Omega-3 fatty acids. Now, we all know this, but one of the things that we don't do is eat more of the foods that actually contain them, when it's really simple to do.
Fish, avocado, hemp seeds, nuts, seeds, all those sort of things. Fatty acids really important for cellular communication. So for the nerve endings, there's a lovely protective coating on there that allows the nerve signals to relay messages. But think of it a bit like Chinese whispers. How it starts off correct, and I don't know if you ever played it at school. We used to do it as part of English at school. It's just an experiment in communication, or lack of communication. And by the end of it, the signal's all mixed up. Well, essential fatty acids help that process along, so they help protect the ends of your nerves, so the cellular signals are correctly transmitted along the line. So essential fats are really important. They also keep you full. They're also protective. Right, so they're all super protective of joints, for collagen production, all those sort of things. So essential fatty acids, so women who say, oh, can't eat fat, we actually do need more fat.
Yeah, exactly. Just the right type of fat.
Yes,
that's all.
Absolutely.
All right, one of our favourites, of course, vitamin D, sunlight exposure.
Yes, vitamin D.
But easier said than done. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you look at people. We're lucky in the way that in the way that we work, and the hours that we work, and the environment that we work in. But even post-COVID, people still have gone back, to the office, and they're in their cars, from 7 o'clock in the morning. They're in an office all day. They might get out for an hour, half an hour at lunchtime, but all they're doing is literally coming down the lift and going to, the sandwich shop, and then coming back. So outside, then you've only got 2 days of the weekend, and not quite enough. So how else do we get vitamin D?
So vitamin D, again, if you can't get it naturally, oily fish, again, essential fatty acids. Eggs are a brilliant source of vitamin D, really good for your health in general anyway. So, they're the sort of foods that you want to be eating for vitamin D. But of course, if you're a shift worker or anything like that, and you're not getting sunlight and you're not getting exposure to it, then take a supplement. It will make the world of difference to your health. It's required for almost every cellular process. It's absolutely important for hormone synthesis, for balancing hormones. It's absolutely important for immune health. It's absolutely important for cancer prevention. So vitamin D, it's a big one.
So honestly, it is a big one. So if you're not getting out in the sun, especially if you're over the age of 40, a vitamin D supplement should be one of your daily go-to.
Check with your blood tests at the doctors. You want to look. This is an interesting one. People go, oh, I don't know what it should be. And the funny thing is, my vitamin D had gone down at one of my last blood tests, which was interesting. And it was over the winter period. And it was ridiculously low. It was like 40, which is terrible.
But for the audience to understand why that's insane for you, you walk every single morning.
Every morning.
And every afternoon. You're always in the sun. You live by the beach. You're active.
Yeah, so that, if that's the same, if you have the same kind of impact, then that tells me that my liver wasn't synthesising it. So I need to give my liver a little bit more love. So for whatever reason, I wasn't converting vitamin D the way it should have in my liver. So then I just took some, liver nutrients and milk thistle and things like that can help.
And that boosted it.
Yeah, and that boosted it. But I also took some vitamin D.
Yeah.
I do know a fabulous vitamin D product, which is super easy to take. But take a vitamin D supplement. Again, immune system, really, really important. And it also is, because sunshine, the vitamin D vitamin is the sunshine vitamin. And it's known as that because it makes you happy. Because when you're in the sun and when you're outside and you're doing things, you feel good. It releases endorphins. That's what vitamin D does. So people who also suffer with anxiety, depression and mental health issues, you absolutely need to get your vitamin D checked. And it needs to be the level you're looking for is around 100. You want to be around 80 to 100 on your blood test of vitamin D. Anyone that tells you, 40 is okay or 50 is okay, don't know what they're talking about.
Well, the thing about vitamin D, where it's just shown all through history to be, I'm not going to say cure, but it has been absolutely vital in in recovering from disease and illness.
Yes.
And we can go all the way back to World War One and World
Yeah.
War Two. And what did the nurses do for the patients in the hospitals? They used to carry the stretchers out and put them in the sun to get vitamin D.
Yeah.
Yep.
So important.
A natural healer. All right, this is quite long, so I better move on.
Yes.
This is one that a lot of people aren't aware of. Biotin.
Biotin, yes, it's a supplement, a mineral. So really, really important. Biotin is for the synthesis and the promotion of hair growth. So it's just a really important one. It's you'll usually find it in most hair formulas, hair, skin and nail formulas.
And you can find it in eggs, almonds and whole grains. Excellent. All right, another popular one that we know of, and that's zinc.
Yes, zinc, yes, for autoimmune dysfunction, skin healing, wound healing, found primarily in oysters. What else have we got on that list?
Beef, pumpkin seeds.
Yeah, pumpkin seeds, that's right. Yes,
You're
pumpkin
a big
seeds.
fan of pumpkin seeds.
I love them.
Yes.
Yeah, really good for zinc is a really important nutrient for men. Men I find tend to be more deficient in zinc than women do, which is interesting. Unless you have hair issues, then it's women equally. But men tend to use up zinc. It tends to be a bit of a water-soluble vitamin, so always good for their prostate as well. And I will always recommend to take zinc at night before you go to bed because it's absorbed best in a resting state.
Yeah.
So that's when your body's doing its housework and that's when your body will absorb more zinc. So take zinc at night.
And then we've got our 3 classic vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin A, and vitamin E.
Yes.
All essential for good nutritional value,
Collagen
but
repair,
hair, again, it's for hair strength, growth.
Collagen synthesis, like, the promotion of collagen. So I think what people misunderstand for something like collagen is you don't take collagen, you take the products that promote collagen. There's a big difference, and I hope people start to understand that, but it is such a valuable nutritional profile.
Well, things like vitamin A and vitamin C, they're precursors to the formation of collagen.
Yes, very important.
Selenium. Now, selenium is such an underrated, or should I say, and so not known enough amongst women, like mature women, how important selenium is. Not just for this particular topic, but for like breast health as well.
And thyroid.
And
so
thyroid.
selenium is an antioxidant and it's one of the best antioxidants that women can take. Really important for thyroid health, really important for breast health, and antioxidants are good for our immune system in general.
You can actually get you can actually buy a selenium supplement, like a pure selenium selenium
You need to watch it. You need to be careful. You don't take it if you don't need it. It's one of those things you should get tested for, but really important for immune health.
Does it show up in a blood test? Is it something that shows up in a blood test, or do you have to specifically ask for it?
You have to get specific tests. It's like some of these, we talk about how to get some of these tests done, and a lot of doctors don't do these. You have to sort of send them off to different labs. You have to come see a naturopath who I use different laboratories than what the doctors do. I mean, the doctors can do it. They just don't, and they're not trained on how to read these kind of labs either. So, there were many years ago, one of my sons had chronic fatigue, and I couldn't get the test that I needed. And this was an absolute breakdown of all amino acids, vitamins, minerals, including all of these separately, right? And how they interacted together. Now, I had to send a sample off to the States at that time. So this is going back, how many, 12, 13, 14 years now. And it cost me like $1,500 to do that test. It's just become available here in Australia now, and it's about $500. So it's still expensive, but at that time, this is a long time ago, $1,500.
Like $5,000.
But what it gave me was this incredible insight into this relationship between what was happening inside his body with amino acids, with vitamins, with minerals, and what was working, what was in deficiency and what was in excess, and how we had to bring it back to balance.
Well, that's why we have the hair sample analysis here. And it's amazing, just a few bulbs of hair. Yeah. And again, it's German technology. Yes. And when we test it, and it brings us, like a whole 15-page report on amino acids, minerals, vitamins, essential fats, the
environmental influences.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think, what do we charge? $169?
Something like that.
Best investment ever to get your hair sample analysis done. And what it does, most of the women that I speak to after, when we send their reports to them, all basically say it confirms what they thought they knew was going on, but obviously didn't come up in blood tests. So a hair analysis is a really nice way to get this information and to find out what's going on inside and what reflects is going on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. And the good thing about it is you know how we've just talked about like all these foods, it does exactly the same thing. And we can tell just from a few hair follicles what foods that you should increase and what foods you should avoid for 90 days.
Just have a trial and see how it makes you feel. And most women will, as I said, it does confirm what a lot of women know. It's the same when you go into the doctors and, you know, you have a blood test and they say, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. But you innately know something's not right. So a hair test might be the way for you, you know, forward. It's a really simple, almost painless, depending on who's pulling out your hair follicles at the back of your head. But it's a really great way to see what's going on the inside.
All right, the next one. This is the one that women don't want to hear.
What's that?
Exercise. Exercise for hormonal balance.
It's
why it matters.
Exercise because it releases endorphins. It gets your blood circulation going.
And blood circulation equals hair growth.
Yes, because it delivers nutrients to where the body needs it. It also gets rid of excess waste. So movement is particularly important. I actually watched a podcast yesterday about movement, and it was a little bit scary, and it said something along the lines of, because I do park run on Saturdays, right, which is a 5 kilometre.
You getting through that now?
Yeah, I'm not great. I'm not a great runner, but I push myself because I feel really good afterwards.
Yeah.
I feel crap while I'm doing it. It's awful. And I've got this talk in my head going, oh, just walk. But my goal is always don't stop. Even if I'm just this ugly old woman shuffle, I keep bloody going until the end of it. So, but I do feel great for it. Anyway, this podcast, I'm digressing a lot, this podcast was all about how what you do now in this age bracket, especially in 40s and 50s, and how it sets you up for your mobility old age. And it was saying even a 5 kilometre park run a week is not going to be enough by the time you're 75 or 80 to give you the energy and the vitality and the flexibility that you need to go up a flight of stairs easily enough. There is evidence now that shows, like when they show these projection graphs, that you actually, we need to move more because we are moving so much less than we did 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Well, actually, do you know what? I might be an exception to the rule there because I'm moving more now than I have done in the last 15 years.
Good.
A lot of that came, I used to be a runner.
Yeah.
Then I got shin splints, as you know, and I've not been able to do any exercise. Then I started Pilates, which I did, and then I had some issues there. My whole sides were kind of like frozen.
Yeah.
And then I started going back to the gym and going on the doing the cross trainer and weights.
Yes.
And I've been doing that 3 or 4 times a week. In fact, yesterday morning was really good. I did both. I went to the gym first of all for like a good cardio session, and then went and did a Pilates stretch class. Just did I wish I could do that every day.
Yeah,
the stretch class was amazing.
Yeah. So I suppose the message in that is find something you love. Explore what's out there in the world of movement and exercise and do something. Yeah. We need to do more because there's more and more evidence that shows, if you want to, have mobility, flexibility and good health in your old age, you need to do this.
If you have good health, you'll have good hair. You just will. Poor health. You always know. If people are sick, unfortunately, I don't want to, bring up cancer, but just as an example, if there's something wrong with your body, you can always tell in a person's hair and their eyes
and skin.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a reflection
of
what's going on inside. And we're not talking hair loss. We're not talking about people who have cancer treatment and things like that. Obviously, that promotes hair loss, but even people with alopecia who I've seen over the years, alopecia is a condition in the body where you actually lose quite big chunks or you have big bald chunks, or they lose all their hair. There's different degrees of alopecia, and most of the time it's minerals. Most of the times underpinning what's going on in their body is minerals, and it's not the fact that they may not be eating it, they might not be absorbing it. So it might not be the fact that they're not eating the foods, but their gut health might be impaired, so they're not absorbing it. The problem with, minerals, it comes from our earth. And, when we say we're not getting minerals from our food, it's because we're poisoning the earth with bloody Roundup and chemicals and spraying it on all our food. So
I used to take, and I swear by them still. I still recommend them today. And actually, you've just reminded me, I must order some more. And that's Dr. Wallach's longevity minerals from the Great Salt Lakes of Utah.
All right. Yep.
98 minerals. I've seen people that have literally gone from having grey hair to brown hair, curing things like arthritis, joint health, all sorts of things, because a lot of people, and I don't want to digress into our minerals and vitamins, but it is because a lot of people think that they are vitamin deficient when they're not. They're actually mineral deficient.
A lot of people are a mineral are your foundation, so you need minerals to hold up your house, which is this. And then, of course, these are all things you can do on the inside, but then there are topical things that you can do for your hair growth. One of the simplest things you can do topically is rosemary. So rosemary oil is really, really nice for hair growth.
Coconut oil.
Yeah. Well, people do. Olive oil is really good for dandruff. So if you have dandruff issues, which is an overproduction of oil, just pure extra virgin olive oil massaged into your hair can be really beneficial.
Well, what's in rosemary then?
Rosemary just promotes hair loss. Hair loss. There you go.
I know what you mean.
Prevents hair loss and promotes good growth of hair.
Okay.
So, rosemary.
Can you buy rosemary oil?
Well, you can. You can buy the essential oil, or you can infuse some of your own freshly grown rosemary from the garden. Put it in some oil, let it seep for a few days. You could hang it on your shower, so you shower in it. It's really refreshing.
But do you just wash? Do you just massage into here, or do you mix it with your shampoo and wash your hair?
Well, there are some shampoos that have it in it, but if you really, got a problem, then I would suggest rosemary oil and massage it in before you go to bed.
Oh, really?
And it smells fresh.
Okay.
So, and stay away from other chemicals. A lot of the hair products out there are so chemical laden that they're actually going to promote hair loss. So, we want to prevent that.
All right.
Healthy hair growth.
So, tips to take away from today is nutrition.
Yep.
Good
Eat
nutrition.
well.
Vitamin D.
Yes,
definitely.
Vitamin D.
Minerals, if you can get hold of some.
Absolutely.
Most health food stores do them.
Have
and rosemary oil for your hair.
And stress. Get rid of the stress in your life. It raises cortisol, it raises your adrenal glands, it shuts off digestion, and it will promote hair loss. And that's not what you want. So, get rid of the stress in your life. We say that over and over and over again.
Nearly every podcast, everything comes out.
Go for a run.
All right. Well, that's about us for today. We have got some exciting new products coming up in the new year.
Yes.
We have actually got something for here coming up in the very future as well. So stay tuned with that.
Yes.
If you want to stay tuned with what we've got coming up, it is specials. And especially coming up to Christmas, we've got some packs and things that we'll be able to package up for your loved ones. Then subscribe and stay in touch.
Yeah, get onto our Facebook, get onto our Instagram. You'll find us all over the place. We're trying to get the message out as many ways as we can, ladies. We'll see you later.
See you. Bye.